Welcome back. I'm just in the process of, I received a shipment of Carrera's latest cars for the 2023 releases, came in a few days ago, and I'm in the process of breaking them in. Each car gets special attention. I take, each one at a time, drive it around about 25 laps, nice and slowly, 25 laps, nice slow pace, make sure everything's okay, that the digital features work, it changes lanes and everything's fine with it. Then after those initial laps, I'll push the speed some more and get some good times out of the cars and have some fun opening them up and just letting them do their thing. And so after maybe about 30 more laps of that, I'll stop them here, take them apart, check everything out, make sure everything's okay. I guess some people do that first. Yeah, it's probably better to do that first. So, you know, this is just something I do and I can't help it. I like to break in that process first and then I'll open them up. So then I can oil them and put some grease on the gears and close them up, and I know they're good from there. I'll run them another maybe 30-40 laps and just tear into them and have fun, and that's what it's all for. And so I'm in the process of doing that. And after each car gets its run, then it gets, actually before it gets its run, it gets these new Frankenslot or slot invasion guides on them. And if I had the Paul gauge tires for them, I'll put them on. And this way, when I'm running them hard, I get to, break them in a little bit. So there's some I don't have the Paul gauge tires on for. Not sure exactly what the Lancias are going to need on them, but in time they'll get their new tires, but they get their Frankenslot guides. So that's what I'm doing tonight, just breaking everybody in. And these are the new arrivals and a not so new arrival. This car is about 15 years old, but it's beautiful and it's getting its turn to be relubricated here. So that's what I'm up to. And I just wanted to make a video on where I'm storing these cars. I had made a reference in the past when I was collecting the 124 scale cars. I need to limit what I'm collecting because I'm running out of space. I like to keep everything I have slot car related in this room. This is a regular bedroom, a spare bedroom in our house. And so I like to keep everything in here. I do have an HO track in the garage, and but I don't trust having the cars out there at all. So even all the HO cars are in here, and this is where they stay when they're not on the track. But yeah, my issue was running out of space on storing them. I don't want to overflow this room, and I was starting to have an issue. Now I'm going to show you this this storage unit here, this shelving unit that I've had for about maybe 4 years now. I was actually running out of space on that shelf. It used to accommodate the 124th cars on there too, but they kind of overwhelmed it. They take over a large portion of that really fast. So now I took them all off and they're under the track, easily reachable right under there. And I'm still working on a way to display them, maybe turning them on their, sideways. But I like to keep all my Carrera cars in their cases, and that's what I do with all these. All the Carrera cars are in their cases. There's cases that these are going to go back into when they're all fixed up and ready to run. And but every other manufacturer's car I don't keep in the case, which is really interesting. I have all the cases. But to me, it's pretty difficult, even though it's difficult also taking the Carrera cars out of their cases where they have the screw and you have to fiddle with all that. It's to me, it's more of problematic on dealing with Slotted and Scalextric and the other manufacturers with these cases, and they're not as robust with their screws, and it's just a pain in the neck, really. So I put them all in these cases here, so they're all individually with their pals in there. of similar brands, one for slotted and different things, and Scalextric and all of them each have their own case. And I even separate them by digital and non-digital, whichever ones have their appropriate, either for slotted the SP43 chip, or for Scalextric the Carson chip and Pioneer. But so that's what's going on there. But the Carrera cars, I'd like to keep in their cases, like to keep them sealed up in there. And my issue, like I was saying, was that I was running out of space on this. I bought this unit from, I think it was Walmart online. It had it shipped to the house. At the time, it was only like $70 US, and it was great to store a lot of cars. And when I first put the cars on, I had them all turned this way. Now, this video isn't about the cars. You could take a sneak peek if you want, but I'll feature these in an upcoming video. But this I want to keep strictly to the storage unit itself, to the storage shelves. Yeah, I had everything turned this way. They could stack 3 wide for Carrera, and each shelf was able to get a stack of 3 going 8 across. So, which meant each shelf can accommodate 24 cars. But all you get to really see are when you get after this row, you would only get to see the fronts of the cars. I would kind of stagger them. This first row would be against the wall. The next one would come out a little bit. And as you go, I would have them come out just a little bit so you can kind of see the front ends of each car. And that was the best effect I could do. And with that, now there's 1, 2, 3, 4 shelves, 5 shelves, but the top one can reach, this is an 8-foot ceiling we have here. So the top one can fit 8 Carrera cars stacked up, where the rest can only fit 3. So it's like 2 2/3 of a shelf up top there, if you have an 8-foot ceiling. I'm not sure, pardon me, how it translates to centimeters. Now this unit in itself is roughly 4 feet. It's, I think, 47 inches, which is around 120 centimeters by, this wood piece here is 11 inches wide. But if you count the bars that this unit in particular has, you could say that's 12 inches, I'm sorry, which is like 30 centimeters. So about 120 by 30 centimeters. And that was enough to accommodate 24 cars on each shelf in this fashion that I had them in. And with that, I was starting to really run out of space. And somehow I got the bright idea. I started sticking cars underneath the track and figuring, that's where it's got to go. And then I'm in trouble when I get too many after that. But I said, let me just experiment with this and let me turn the cars sideways and see what happens. And by just that simple little turn, now I lose 2 rows where I had 8, where it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cars this way, 3 high, that's 24. By turning them this way, all facing forward like this, I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this 6th one can turn sideways. You can actually also have it this way, but it would lean off the edge. You can play around with it, and if you're against the wall, you can have it a little bit, away from the wall to where the back part is, leaning off enough to have the wall brace it. But you can also have this as your end post here. So there's 6 that would go this way, and they're 2 deep. So when you count all this in reality, that's 6 times 3, right? 6, 12, 18. And then there's 5 in the second row back there. So that's another 15. 5 times 3 back there is 15. So that's 33. So just by this simple turn on this shelf, I increased from 24 to 33. I gained 9 spots. And that's the top side of this. The upside of this is that you get to have 9 cars more per shelf, which is fantastic. And another upside is that you get to see the full car. The front row of all the cars is fully on display. You get to still have these looking right at you, that you can look right at. And it's a great positioning for them. And if you go on the other side of the room, you could see everything there. The only downside is the second row behind them there, you can't see those cars really. And so, but in my thinking, to gain 9 cars per shelf, it's worth it to have those blocked out and to see this row fully. And I can alternate every month or however I feel. I can alternate, bring the front row, bring the back row to the front, push these back, and have that row display. And these will, in the front end caps here, will always be on display. So having that increase the storage by 9 per shelf, which is very, very bad if you collect, because having more space or knowing that you have more space only makes you want to get more cars. So this is a very, very bad thing. So, okay, so all in all, for Carrera now, if you keep your Carrera cars in your cases, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 2/3 shelves, really, if you have an 8-foot ceiling. And you can gain a lot more cars. So 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, and that top 2/3 would be another 6. So that's 60 additional cars just in this little space here. This 120 by 30 centimeters, 4 foot by 1 foot little spot right in the corner can hold 60 more cars by this one simple little turn. Now this also works if you have Scalextric. If you like to keep your Scalextric in the box, here's some Scalextric. You can actually stack, let's get this up here. Now you can actually stack 4 of your standard Scalextric in this. Just take good measurements on the distance between these. This is very sturdy wood that is very nicely done, and this is not going to bow. This is very, very sturdy, and it's in great shape after all these years, and this is not going to give in. But you could stack 4 high of these Scalextric boxes, and just imagine what this is going to be. They're just around the same size as the Carrera, so you could still get your 6 and 6 by 4 and a double row back there. You can get plenty of Scalextric in their cases on this storage unit. And the same goes for others. Let's see. Pardon my transfer here. And here's the slotted boxes. And here's a Pioneer and an MR slot car. You could see you also get 4 of them that stack up. And here's an SCX, which is about the size of a Carrera. So you can even get, you could see an SEX in there, and you can go 4 tall on each shelf. So that works out well. And if you get this monstrous Scalextric box, this case, it's longer than the Carrera, but it is about the same height. So you can get the 3 in height if you collect a bunch of these. I don't think there are too many of these in the long, big boxes that were made, so I don't think you have that many to worry about. But they'll fit just nicely, about the size of the Carrera. And yeah, and my rule, even though I can get 8 tall up there, that seems like it could be dangerous. So if you have it tucked in a corner like I do here, you'll be in good shape. It's out of the way, and my rule is never to take more than 3 down from the top. So if I happen to want this Chevelle here, it's tempting to just lift from this one and bring that pile out. No, I only take 3 at a time. I'm 5'10", 5'10 and a half, and I could reach that if somehow I get shorter and I can't reach that, I can always get a little step stool here. If you're a little shorter than me or don't have the reach, you can get a little step stool. But my rule is never to take more than 3 at a time from the top. 3, 3, and then you could take this one to get to your Chevelle and race that around. So that's how it works for me. And hopefully you find this inspiring if you have a growing collection and you're looking for a place to store everything. It doesn't take up much space. It's in the corner. Doesn't get banged into. Nobody really goes there. If a car, gets comes out of the final turn over there and needs some attention, there's a nice space here to come by. And if it gets hit, it's pretty sturdy. It's not bouncing around. And under the track here, I store all of my HO cars in their various containers. I was explaining how I keep all of my HO cars, my Aurora Thunderjets, in those two, and different stacks of various Auroras, Tycos, Auto Whirls, and 1/43rd scale. So everything's labeled, and that's how I do it. And I also have a little overflow over here under the track. Now these cars will fit back up there, but I keep them here because these are the go-to cars for my grandkids. They love the trucks. They love these cars. They're all into them. I have the one grandson that loves Lightning McQueen. He drives this endlessly. And so this is their go-to. I keep them down here. But when there's different go-to cars, these will go back up there, and whatever they want, they have access. They have carte blanche to whatever they want to drive. They take care of them, and they're good with them. So I say, you can have at it. Just drive what you like. And that's what they pick. These are the cases for the cars that I have that just came in. And these are the 1/24 scale cars. And I'll probably turn these sideways somehow. I'll figure something out to where you can get a better view of them. So that's what's happening here. And if you have any questions about this unit, let me know. And I'll answer anything you need. And if this helps out, that's great. And thank you for watching, and have fun racing.